Welcome to Flow Speak Studio, where English flows naturally. Let's start speaking with confidence. Have you ever noticed this? You understand English perfectly, but the moment someone says something like, hurry up or wake up already, your brain pauses. Not because it's hard, but because it's real English.
Exactly. Phrasal verbs aren't difficult because of grammar. They're difficult because they carry emotion, urgency, tone, and intention. And up is everywhere.
Welcome to Flow Speak Studio.
This is special episode 9, an episode designed to help you stop translating and start responding naturally.
Today, we're diving into 50 phrasal verbs with up, used every single day in real life.
Native speakers don't think about rules, they react.
They wake up, they hurry up, they grow up, they mess up, and they move on.
These phrasal verbs describe life in motion, actions, pressure, habits, emotions. No grammar lectures here, just how people actually speak.
Here's one that carries emotional weight. Stand up. Stand up. This means more than just being on your feet. It's about self-respect. When you stand up, you protect yourself or others. For example, she finally stood up to her boss after months of silence. Another example is, you need to stand up for yourself. No one else will. Let's shift slightly. Sit up. Sit up. This often signals alertness or sudden attention.
Something changed and now you're paying attention. For example, I sat up the moment he mentioned my name. Another example is, that comment made everyone sit up and listen. All right, let's keep moving forward. Wake up. Wake up.
This phrase literally means to stop sleeping, but emotionally it goes much deeper. Wake up is often used to describe a moment of awareness, when someone finally realizes something important. It can signal mental clarity, emotional awakening, or even frustration towards someone who isn't seeing reality. Native speakers use it both neutrally and emotionally, depending on tone and context.
Instead of saying, I realized it, natives say, I woke up to it because it feels more vivid and personal.
For example, I woke up early today. That's literal.
Another example, he needs to wake up and face the truth. That's emotional awareness.
This phrase represents clarity and realization. Now, let's name the next one. Get up. Get up.
To get up means to rise from a resting position, but culturally it represents action. It implies initiative, choosing to move instead of staying passive. Emotionally, it's often linked to recovery, motivation, and resilience. Native speakers use it not just for mornings, but for moments when someone needs to re-engage with life.
Instead of stand, get up sounds more dynamic and intentional.
For example, I got up late today.
Another example, he got up after failing the first time. That implies perseverance.
This phrase signals movement after stillness. The next one is very common and very emotional. Grow up. Grow up.
Grow up can mean becoming physically older, but emotionally it refers to maturity. It's about developing responsibility, emotional control, and perspective. Sometimes it's used neutrally, other times critically, depending on tone. Native speakers rely on this phrase to describe personal evolution, not just age.
Instead of saying be mature, grow up sounds more natural and conversational.
For example, we grew up in the same neighborhood.
Another example, he needs to grow up and take responsibility.
This phrase carries expectations and life lessons. All right, moving on. Stay up. Stay up. To stay up means choosing not to sleep, often for a reason. It implies intention, work, worry, excitement, or responsibility. Emotionally, it can suggest sacrifice or dedication. Native speakers use it when time, effort, or emotion override rest.
Instead of saying not sleep, stay up feels casual and natural.
For example, I stayed up too late.
Another example, she stayed up worrying about the decision. That hints at commitment or concern.
Now, let's move into something more dynamic. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up means to move faster, but emotionally it carries pressure. It reflects urgency, impatience, or time constraints. Depending on tone, it can sound playful, stressed, or commanding. Native speakers rely heavily on tone to soften or intensify this phrase.
Instead of saying be fast, hurry up sounds more natural and spoken.
For example, hurry up or we'll be late.
Another example, take your time, no need to hurry up. That softens the pressure.
This phrase reflects time tension. All right, let's gently move into the next one. Bring up. Bring up.
Bring up means to introduce a topic into a conversation, but emotionally, it's about timing, sensitivity, and courage. You don't just bring up anything. You bring up things that matter, things that may be uncomfortable, or things that need to be addressed. Native speakers use this phrase when there's emotional weight behind the words.
Instead of saying, I want to talk about this, bring up sounds more natural and more human.
For example, she brought up the issue during dinner. That suggests tension and careful timing.
Another example is, I didn't want to bring it up, but it needed to be said. That shows emotional hesitation.
This phrase reflects emotional awareness and bravery. Now, let's move into something more personal. Open up. Open up.
Open up means allowing someone to see your inner world. It's about trust, vulnerability, and emotional safety. This phrase is never rushed. It happens over time. Native speakers use it to describe moments when emotional walls slowly come down.
Instead of saying talk about feelings, open up sounds softer and more empathetic.
For example, he finally opened up about his fears.
Another example is she struggles to open up with new people. That shows emotional caution.
This phrase represents trust being built. All right, shifting the energy a bit. Cheer up. Cheer up.
Cheer up means encouraging someone to feel better emotionally. It's not about ignoring pain. It's about offering support. Depending on tone, it can sound comforting or dismissive, which is why delivery matters. Native speakers use it carefully when emotions are involved.
Instead of saying don't be sad, cheer up feels warmer when said gently.
For example, I brought her coffee to cheer her up.
Another example is he tried to cheer himself up after the bad news. That shows emotional effort.
This phrase carries emotional support. Now, let's move into something very human. Make up. Make up.
Make up means restoring peace after conflict. It's about communication, humility, and forgiveness. This phrase doesn't erase what happened, it acknowledges it and moves forward. Native speakers use it when emotional repair matters more than being right.
Instead of saying we stopped fighting, make up highlights reconciliation.
For example, they argued but they made up later.
Another example is, we need to make up before this gets worse. That shows emotional responsibility.
This phrase represents healing. All right, now let's talk about something heavier. Break up. Break up.
Break up means ending a relationship, but emotionally, it's about separation, loss, and transition. It often involves confusion, grief, and self-reflection. Native speakers use this phrase because it acknowledges emotional complexity without explanation.
Instead of saying they're not together anymore, break up sounds direct but emotionally understood.
For example, they decided to break up after years together.
Another example is he's still healing from the breakup. That shows emotional aftermath.
This phrase carries emotional closure. All right, let's move forward with something you hear all the time in real life. Catch up. Catch up.
Catch up means reaching the same level as someone else after being behind, in time, information, or connection. Emotionally, it's about reconnection. It often happens when life gets busy and distance quietly grows. Native speakers use this phrase when they want to reconnect without pressure or drama.
Instead of saying we haven't talked in a long time, catch up sounds warm and inviting.
For example, let's meet for coffee and catch up. That suggests reconnection.
Another example is, I need to catch up on work after the weekend. That shows recovery and responsibility.
This phrase communicates reconnection and balance. Now let's move into something reflective. End up. End up.
End up describes the final result of a situation, often unexpected. Emotionally, it reflects how life doesn't always follow plans. Native speakers use this phrase when outcomes unfold naturally, not forcefully. It carries acceptance and realism.
Instead of saying, this is what happened, end up sounds more honest and human.
For example, we ended up staying longer than planned.
Another example is, he ended up choosing a different path. That suggests life decisions.
This phrase represents acceptance and adaptability.
All right, now let's talk about preparation. Set up. Set up.
Set up means preparing something so it can function properly. Emotionally, it's about foresight and intention. Native speakers use this phrase when effort happens before results. It highlights responsibility behind success.
Instead of prepare, set up sounds more practical and real-life focused.
For example, they set up the meeting in advance.
Another example is, he helped her set up her new business. That implies support.
This phrase signals readiness and care.
All right, now let's move into accountability. Follow up. Follow up.
Follow up means checking back after something has started. Emotionally, it communicates reliability and seriousness. Native speakers use it when words need action behind them. It shows you don't disappear after the first step.
Instead of check again, follow up sounds respectful and professional.
For example, I'll follow up with you tomorrow.
Another example is, she followed up after the interview. That shows initiative.
This phrase builds trust.
All right, let's bring this part together. Wrap up. Wrap up.
Wrap up means finishing something neatly and intentionally. Emotionally, it reflects closure and completion. Native speakers use this phrase when they want to end things smoothly, not abruptly. It suggests respect for time and effort.
Instead of finish, wrap up sounds softer and more considerate.
For example, let's wrap up the meeting.
Another example is, he wrapped up the project early. That shows efficiency.
This phrase communicates closure and clarity.
All right, now let's move into momentum. Speed up. Speed up.
Speed up means increasing the pace of something, but emotionally, it often appears when time feels tight or pressure increases. It's not just about going faster physically. Native speakers use it when urgency enters the situation, sometimes gently, sometimes forcefully. It reflects stress, efficiency, or impatience, depending on tone.
Instead of saying hurry, speed up sounds more controlled and situational.
For example, we need to speed up if we want to finish today. That signals time pressure.
Another example is, the process sped up once everyone agreed. That shows flow and alignment.
This phrase communicates urgency without panic. Now, let's move into interruption and delay. Hold up. Hold up.
Hold up means causing a delay or stopping progress temporarily. Emotionally, it often carries frustration, but also realism. Native speakers use it when something unexpected slows things down. It's rarely about blame, it's about acknowledgement.
Instead of saying, this caused a problem, hold up sounds lighter and more conversational.
For example, traffic held us up this morning.
Another example is, sorry, something came up and held me up. That shows honesty.
This phrase softens frustration. All right, now let's move into commitment. Take up. Take up.
Take up means starting something new, an activity, habit, or responsibility. Emotionally, it signals curiosity and personal growth. Native speakers use it when a decision feels intentional, not accidental. It often marks a new chapter.
Instead of saying, I started, take up sounds more deliberate.
For example, she took up yoga last year.
Another example is, he's thinking of taking on a new role at work. That suggests growth.
This phrase communicates intention and evolution. Now, let's talk about progress. Move up. Move up.
Move up means advancing professionally, socially, or personally. Emotionally, it reflects ambition and recognition. Native speakers use it when progress is earned, not demanded. It often implies trust from others.
Instead of get promoted, move up sounds smoother and less rigid.
For example, she moved up quickly in the company.
Another example is, he's ready to move up to the next level. That shows confidence.
This phrase reinforces growth and momentum. All right, now let's move into responsibility. Step up. Step up.
Step up means taking responsibility when it matters most. Emotionally, it's about courage and accountability. Native speakers use it when someone rises to a moment instead of avoiding it. It often carries respect.
Instead of saying, do your job, step up invites action without aggression.
For example, he stepped up when the team needed him.
Another example is, it's time to step up and lead. That signals trust.
This phrase communicates strength and maturity. Now, let's talk about something you use every single day. Pick up. Pick up.
Pick up literally means lifting something, but emotionally it goes much deeper. It often means taking responsibility, noticing change, or improving gradually. Native speakers use this phrase when effort begins to show results. It can describe energy, mood, learning, or momentum.
Instead of saying it's improving, pick up sounds more natural and optimistic.
For example, business started to pick up after the holidays. That implies gradual improvement.
Another example is, can you pick up the kids today? That shows responsibility.
This phrase communicates awareness and action. Now let's move into tolerance and limits. Put up. Put up.
Put up means accepting or tolerating something unpleasant. Emotionally, it reflects patience, sometimes forced patience. Native speakers use it when they endure rather than enjoy. It often implies boundaries being tested.
Instead of saying, I tolerate this, put up with sounds more honest.
For example, she won't put up with disrespect.
Another example is, he's tired of putting up with excuses. That shows frustration.
This phrase signals boundaries. Now, let's talk about limits. Use up. Use up.
Use up means consuming something completely. Emotionally, it's often connected to exhaustion, not just objects, but energy and patience. Native speakers use it when something is fully depleted. It can carry frustration or realism.
Instead of finish, use up highlights total consumption.
For example, we used up all our savings.
Another example is, that argument really used me up. That shows emotional exhaustion.
This phrase expresses limits being reached. Now let's move into completeness. Fill up. Fill up.
Fill up means making something full, physically or emotionally. Emotionally, it can express satisfaction or being overwhelmed. Native speakers use it when capacity is reached. It can be positive or negative.
Instead of make full, fill up sounds fluid and natural.
For example, let's fill up the tank before leaving.
Another example is the room filled up quickly. That suggests intensity.
This phrase signals readiness or pressure. All right, now let's talk about repair. Clean up. Clean up.
Clean up means restoring order after chaos. Emotionally, it often follows mistakes or messes, literal or metaphorical. Native speakers use it when accountability enters the picture. It implies responsibility without blame.
Instead of saying fix everything, clean up sounds practical and calm.
For example, we need to clean up after the event.
Another example is, he's trying to clean up his image. That shows redemption.
This phrase represents recovery and order. All right, let's move into emotions that catch you off guard. Tear up. Tear up.
Tear up means starting to cry, but not fully crying. Emotionally, it represents a moment where feelings rise suddenly. Gratitude, sadness, pride, or nostalgia. Native speakers use this phrase when emotions are genuine but controlled. It often appears in quiet, intimate moments.
Instead of saying, I almost cried, tear up sounds more honest and vulnerable.
For example, she teared up when she heard the news. That suggests emotional impact.
Another example is, he teared up during the speech. That shows emotional connection.
This phrase signals humanity and sincerity. Now let's move into intensity. Heat up. Heat up.
Heat up means increasing temperature, but emotionally, it means rising tension. Native speakers use it when situations escalate. It can describe arguments, competition, or pressure building. It warns that things are changing quickly.
Instead of saying it's getting intense, heat up feels more dynamic.
For example, the debate started to heat up.
Another example is things heated up after the announcement. That signals escalation.
This phrase prepares the listener for tension. All right, this next one carries risk. Shut up. Shut up.
Shut up literally means stop talking, but socially it's powerful and dangerous. Emotionally, it can sound aggressive, playful, or shocked depending on tone. Native speakers use it carefully, often jokingly among close friends. Used wrong, it can damage relationships.
Instead of saying, be quiet, this phrase can feel confrontational.
For example, oh, shut up, no way. That's playful surprise.
Another example is, he told her to shut up. That sounds harsh and disrespectful.
This phrase teaches tone awareness. All right, now let's move into mistakes. Mess up. Mess up.
Mess up means making a mistake, but emotionally, it's about self-awareness. Native speakers use it when acknowledging errors without sounding dramatic. It feels human and honest, not formal or defensive. It often invites forgiveness.
Instead of saying I failed, mess up sounds softer and more recoverable.
For example, I messed up and I'm sorry.
Another example is he messed up the presentation. That shows accountability.
This phrase opens space for repair. All right, let's take that a step stronger. Screw up. Screw up.
Screw up is a stronger version of mess up. Emotionally, it carries frustration, regret, or seriousness. Native speakers use it when mistakes have consequences. It sounds more intense and self-critical.
Instead of make a big mistake, screw up feels raw and real.
For example, I really screwed up this time.
Another example is, they screwed up the entire plan. That implies consequences.
This phrase expresses accountability under pressure. All right, now let's move into something explosive. Blow up. Blow up.
Blow up means losing control suddenly. Emotionally, it describes a moment where pressure has been building for a long time and finally releases. It can refer to anger, conflict, or even situations that escalate unexpectedly. Native speakers use this phrase when emotions overflow, not when someone is calmly upset.
Instead of saying he got very angry, blow up captures the suddenness and intensity of the moment.
For example, he blew up during the meeting after weeks of silence. That shows suppressed pressure.
Another example is the situation blew up overnight. That implies chaos and loss of control.
This phrase signals emotional overload. It warns that something has gone too far. Okay, this next one has both literal and emotional weight. Beat up. Beat up.
Beat up can mean physical violence, but emotionally, it often means self-criticism. Native speakers frequently use it to describe blaming yourself excessively. It reflects guilt, regret, or replaying mistakes mentally. In this emotional sense, the pain is internal, not visible.
Instead of saying, I keep criticizing myself, beat yourself up sounds more honest and human.
For example, don't beat yourself up over it. That's emotional reassurance.
Another example is, she's been beating herself up about the decision. That shows inner struggle.
This phrase signals vulnerability. It invites compassion. All right, let's slow things down a bit. Back up. Back up.
Back up means to pause, create space, or provide support, depending on context. Emotionally, it's about regaining control. Native speakers use it when situations feel rushed, overwhelming, or unfair. It can be both protective and assertive.
Instead of saying, wait, stop, back up sounds firmer but still conversational.
For example, back up, let me explain. That sets boundaries.
Another example is he backed her up during the argument. That shows loyalty.
This phrase communicates control and support. Now, let's move into presence. Show up. Show up.
Show up means more than arriving physically. Emotionally, it means being present, reliable, and engaged. Native speakers use this phrase to describe commitment, especially when it matters. It reflects consistency, not perfection.
Instead of saying, he was there, show up highlights effort and intention.
For example, she always shows up when it counts.
Another example is, he didn't show up emotionally. That signals absence beyond the physical.
This phrase measures character, not punctuality. All right, next one is turn up. Turn up.
Turn up means appearing unexpectedly or increasing intensity. Emotionally, it often carries surprise. Native speakers use it casually when plans change or people appear without warning. It feels spontaneous and informal.
Instead of saying he arrived unexpectedly, turn up sounds natural and relaxed.
For example, he turned up late without calling.
Another example is something interesting always turns up. That implies openness to chance.
This phrase adds unpredictability and realism. All right, now let's move into moments that appear unexpectedly in life. Come up. Come up.
Come up means something appears, happens, or becomes relevant, often without planning. Emotionally, this phrase reflects uncertainty and adaptability. Native speakers use it when situations, topics, or opportunities arise naturally, not by force. It suggests openness to change and readiness to respond.
Instead of saying, this appeared suddenly, come up sounds smoother and more conversational.
For example, something important came up, so I had to cancel. That implies an unavoidable situation.
Another example is, that topic came up during the meeting. That shows natural conversation flow.
This phrase signals flexibility. It prepares the listener for change without panic. All right, now let's move into conversations that require courage. Bring up. Bring up.
Bring up means introducing a topic, especially one that may be uncomfortable, emotional, or important. Emotionally, it reflects awareness and sensitivity. Native speakers use it when timing matters and words carry weight. It often signals honesty mixed with caution.
Instead of saying, I want to talk about something difficult, bring up feels lighter and less confrontational.
For example, she brought up the issue calmly. That suggests emotional intelligence.
Another example is, he didn't want to bring it up again. That shows emotional hesitation.
This phrase protects relationships. It shows respect for emotional space. All right, now let's talk about surprises. Pop up. Pop up.
Pop up means appearing suddenly and briefly. Emotionally, it carries a sense of surprise, interruption, or spontaneity. Native speakers use it for things that weren't planned and don't stay long. It often feels casual, sometimes annoying, sometimes pleasant.
Instead of saying it appeared unexpectedly, pop up feels lighter and more natural.
For example, a problem popped up at the last minute.
Another example is, he popped up out of nowhere. That adds surprise.
This phrase signals unpredictability without drama. Now let's slow things down and think. Look up. Look up.
Look up means searching for information, but emotionally, it represents curiosity and self-reliance. Native speakers use it when taking initiative to understand something better. It suggests effort, independence, and learning. It's a quiet but powerful action.
Instead of saying, I searched for information, look up sounds simpler and more natural.
For example, I looked it up before making a decision.
Another example is, look up the word if you're unsure. That shows autonomy.
This phrase empowers the listener. It encourages self-growth.
All right, let's end this part with imagination. Think up. Think up.
Think up means creating an idea, solution, or plan from scratch. Emotionally, it reflects creativity under pressure. Native speakers use it when solutions don't exist yet. They must be invented. It suggests mental effort and originality.
Instead of saying, I created an idea, think up sounds more natural and process-focused.
For example, she thought up a creative solution.
Another example is, we'll think something up. That expresses optimism.
This phrase communicates possibility and resilience.
All right, let's move into conclusions. Sum up. Sum up.
Sum up means expressing the main idea clearly and briefly after reflection. Emotionally, it represents clarity after complexity. Native speakers use it when they want to close a thought without confusion. It shows mental organization and confidence.
Instead of saying, I will explain everything again, sum up sounds efficient and mature.
For example, to sum up, we need more time.
Another example is, he summed up his thoughts calmly.
This phrase brings peace to conversations. It signals closure. Now, let's talk about preparation. Line up, line up.
Line up means arranging things in the correct order or planning ahead. Emotionally, it reflects control and foresight. Native speakers use it when steps are intentional, not random. It suggests readiness.
Instead of saying, I planned everything, line up sounds more natural.
For example, we have meetings lined up all week. Another example is, she lined everything up in advance.
This phrase communicates stability and preparation.
All right, now let's move into outcomes. Wind up. Wind up.
Wind up means how something finally ends, often unexpectedly. Emotionally, it reflects acceptance. Native speakers use it to talk about final results without judgment. It carries a tone of realism.
Instead of saying, this is how it ended, wind up feels softer.
For example, he wound up changing careers.
Another example is, we wound up staying home.
This phrase teaches flexibility with outcomes. Now, let's address something emotional. Give up, give up.
Give up means stopping effort, emotionally or physically. It carries weight. Native speakers use it carefully because it signals limits, exhaustion, or surrender. It can be negative or healthy.
Instead of saying, I can't continue, give up is honest and raw.
For example, he didn't give up even when it was hard.
Another example is, she finally gave up on that idea. This phrase acknowledges human limits.
Now let's move into growth. Build up. Build up.
Build up means growing something gradually, skills, confidence, emotions. Emotionally, it represents patience. Native speakers use it for progress that takes time. It's slow but powerful.
Instead of saying, I improved over time, build up feels more natural.
For example, she built up her confidence.
Another example is, trust builds up slowly.
This phrase inspires consistency.
Now let's close with identity. Grow up to be. Grow up to be.
Grow up to be refers to identity formed over time. Emotionally, it reflects dreams, influence, and evolution. Native speakers use it when talking about purpose and future selves. It's deeply human.
Instead of saying, this is who I became, grow up to be sounds reflective.
For example, he grew up to be a teacher.
Another example is, she grew up to be confident.
This phrase honors personal journeys.
And that brings us to the end of this special episode.
And remember, these phrasal verbs aren't just expressions. They're how native speakers think, feel, and connect.
If you start using them naturally, your English won't just sound correct, it'll sound real.
Take your time. Let them build up. Let them sink in.
Thanks for learning with us.
And remember, fluency isn't rushed.
See you in the next episode.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment down below.